All right.
All right, Kush, how you doing?
I'm all right.
Yeah?
Yeah, is the lighting okay or
Yeah, I think you're looking good and you're sounding good as well.
okay, excellent,
How,
excellent.
how about myself? Am I sounding okay?
Nice and clear, bright,
All
everything.
right, all right, all right. Wow, wow, wow. Are you keeping? It's been hot today, man.
Hot, very hot.
Can't
You know,
complain though.
ironically, as soon as I logged on, the first picture I saw was Marcus Garvey. So I'm like, that just gives me a little, it's almost like a permission to speak. So
Yes,
I'm gonna
yes.
take it as that, as you know what I mean.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. Well, we know how it goes. We give people a few minutes to get on. Yeah.
Mhm.
Let me just turn off that fan. I've got a bit of background noise. Bear with me. Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, man. So how you been today? All right, everything good?
I've been all right, I've been all right.
Mhm.
Taking it easy, as the best way is to deal with these lives. 'Cause we put a lot of work into it, haven't we?
I'm telling you, it looks like a simple thing, It looks like a simple thing,
Yes, 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 yes.
but we've organized, yeah. We've been strategic. Just
Yeah,
throwing out some words, you know what I mean? Some practice
absolutely.
words for later on.
Exactly. Lead by example.
Exactly.
Yeah. Couple of minutes in.
Mhm.
Sip my tea, yeah.
Don't blame me.
Mm.
I'm gonna keep it water for now.
Okay, okay.
For now, though, just for now.
Yeah.
I'm sure I had a pen. I shouldn't need to write down nothing though. Is there one on the kitchen table there? If not, it's
Yes,
okay.
Liz. You don't know already. Aye.
I see we got Texas in the house as well. International, I
Oh,
told you. Yeah.
international.
International.
Yeah.
Hi, Shani. Yeah. Hi, Liz. I can't actually see everybody that's on, but I can see like two people.
Yes. Yes.
Big up yourself, Liz.
All right. You know what? I think we should start. You all
Let's
right?
do it.
You all right with that?
I'm ready,
No. All right then.
throat clear,
That's
so
ready to talk. So
ready.
yes, thank you everybody for tuning in and stuff. What can I really say? Today, well, last week we took a break. This week we've come back, and I think it's very timely that we've come back with the subject in hand and the subject in matter, which is activism. Are you really on it? Yeah. Because let's face it, a good week and a half's gone, since Boris said that certain shops can open back up again. Yeah. And then we've got that pseudo Independence Day coming up, the 4th of July, where certain other shops are due to open up. Yeah. So we're going to get blinded with science, and, who's
Right.
really on it is really going to start to show. Do you know what I mean? Football's back up and running. Yeah. So people are posting about football and things have changed a little bit different. So all the lovely, beautiful.
Primark's open, so everything's back to normal now.
Yes. Yes, all the beautiful distractions that are out there
Exactly.
that's kind of kept us passive, yeah, to what's actually going on in the world and has been going on in the world for ages, yeah,
Mhm.
is starting to return back to normal. And just like any other lockdown, if we were locked down in prison, we would have had plenty of time to contemplate and reason and understand and learn, and do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's done exactly that same purpose in my eyes. Do you know what I mean? So yes, I think we're going to start off with my favorite question. Who are you?
Who are you? Hey. Right. So, my name's Tamar. I'm known in my community as KUSH, or KUSH daughter.
Mm-hmm.
I consider myself community activist. I've done a lot of work around youth and community, a lot with youth. I worked for a number of years at Handsworth Play Centre. I've taught at various schools in and around Birmingham. I've done a lot of community research. One of the ones that some of the viewers may have been involved in led to my dissertation called Blonde Hair, Blue Eyed Black Girl, where I examined, like, you know, Black women and beauty, Black teenage girls, this idea of identity, and, you know, this notion of beauty being in the eye of the beholder, but yet still, if you've got colonial lenses on, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, how much are we really, you know, seeing and understanding ourselves? Most recently, last year, I did some more research into Black boys and hair discrimination and produced a documentary called Hierarchy. That was around a young boy from Tipton named Josiah, who was being discriminated against at his school because of his hair. So, you know, I explored women, and then this time around, I explored, you know, the young men. I've been involved in, like, a few documentaries, a few, like, Channel 4 appearances, most recently last year when I spoke in, you know, in disgust of the way they shut down the Blue Story. You know, I was approached by Channel 4 to give my comments. I was also approached by Channel 4 to talk about the Black boys and the hair discrimination. I'm also vice chair of OBU, Organisation of Black Unity, and it's that capacity, you know, or it's that hat that I'm wearing, that hat that I'm going to be speaking with tonight.
Big,
so,
big,
yeah.
big. Love it. So yes, and you know, as you say, we're talking about you know, with that hat and with that perspective. So for me, tell us a bit more about OBU. So,
well, quite recently, as we all know, you know, we're still feeling it, you know, the trauma, the frustration, the anger of ongoing and, you know, more prevalent recent events. So, you know, while I understand the need for the community to react, I understand the need to, you know, let off that steam and chant about what's not right. The question is then, what next?
Yes.
So, you know, we've had the protests, you know, we've signed the petitions, we've put up the black screens, you know, we've hashtagged, you know what I'm saying? What next? Now you said everything's so-called back to normal. What are we going to do now? The problem that we have as a community is that we become very reactionary. So something happens, we fight, no justice, no peace. Then, like you said, a couple of weeks later, everything's back to normal, and then we react again. Yeah, but in between the times of, you know, in between the quiet times, in between events, what are we doing so that we're not always having to go back to the beginning? You know what I mean? And who are we? Who are we talking to? Who are we protesting to? What are we protesting about? And what are we demanding? These are some of the questions that sometimes, even myself being out there protesting, I'm like, okay, no justice, no peace. But then who are we talking to? Who are we? You know, how are we presenting ourselves? So, you know, after we react, then we need to come back and we need to organize, be strategic, you know, and, you know, govern our community basically. So in response to all those things, the Organisation of Black Unity was born. Yeah, so myself, there's myself, Kayinde Andrews, which a lot of people are probably familiar with, his wife, Nicole Andrews, and we have a sister Shay, who is our admin officer. So we're like from the original, you know, board members, we're the ones that are still current now. We also have on the board Elder Marcel, that used to run Harriet Tubman book shop. So yeah, we're like the members of the board. OBU stands for Organisation of Black Unity. Now, our principles and our what word am I looking for? Yeah, our principles are basically follow Malcolm X's Organisation of African American Unity. So it's mirrored off that. The only thing that's different basically is the name, because we're not African American, right? So Organisation of Black Unity mimicked off Malcolm X's Organisation of African American Unity, and basically it has two basic principles. Those two basic principles are paid membership. so that we can be self-reliant and sustain ourselves. And the idea of strategic nation building. So it's an organization, it's a movement that transcends religion, it transcends class, it transcends economical, you know what I mean, status, right? Because when we're getting profiled, when we're getting, you know, stereotyped, when we're getting judged, we're not getting judged based upon the name of the God that we serve or, you know, how much money we got. We're being judged and we're being treated a particular way because of the color of our beautiful black skin. So that is what we need to get together and understand is the one common factor amongst all those things. So as a response to that, OBU was born. And we started off, I'm just looking at some notes because I'm kind of rubbish with dates. We started off in 2013, and the first thing that we did, we realized that there's no point in starting an organization, providing a service or services that nobody's asked for. So the very first year of our inception, yeah, the whole first year project was called What Do You Want? What Do We Want? And we had a lot of meetings in the community. A lot of them were at ACMC, which is on Dudley Road. Yes. So we had, and then we left like red boxes around the community just for people to leave their ideas. We want this, we want that, we want that. So we asked the people what they wanted this organization to do, and they spoke, and we responded. So we set up the organization with different departments. Yeah. So the idea is that people would join the organization, which is £5 a month, and then depending on what your skill set is, depending on what your skill set is, you would then attach yourself to a particular department. So we have the education department. So for instance, I'm just going to call that Liz, because I know you don't mind, Liz. So for instance, Liz would join OBU and attach herself to the education department. So anything to do with education, anything to do with policies, or anything that we need to know as a community in regards to early years education, we know that, boom, we've got the Black nursery manager there, right? Anything to do with health. We've got so many issues around Black health in our community. You know, we suffer from sickle cell, we've got lupus, all the mental health. So anybody where health is your passion and your thing, and that's what you're driven by, you attach yourself to the health department. So then anything in the Black community that we need to do with health, we know, say, right, we're going to signpost you to there. You understand what I mean? So that's how that's how it works. I'm not going to say how it's supposed to work because it's still alive, you know, it's still an alive thing, but that's how it works. Yeah. The membership is £5 a month. Yeah. One of the questions we used to get asked so much, what am I getting from a £5 a month? Right? Believe me, you know what I mean? So for the £5 a month, you're getting, hear this, listen to the bargain for £5 a month. You're getting to control and govern your community. You're getting a committed organization and a safe space where we can discuss the things that we need, where we can create services for ourselves. Yeah. You're getting to know that you're shaping the future of your community for the people that live in it, for your children, your grandchildren. Yeah. You're getting a sense of independence. Yeah. You're getting freedom. And what Malcolm X said, freedom ain't free. So for your £5 a month, you're getting all of that. You're getting all of that. Yeah. Another reason why we have to be a paid, you know, it needs to be a paid organization is because if we as a community cannot sustain, if we as a community cannot sustain an organization amongst ourselves, we're going to be relying on government funding, then I don't even know what to call that. You know what happens when you apply for anybody that's applied for funding before? You know what happened? You can't say Black, you now have to say BAME. You can't say this, you now have to say that. You know, you have to change your language. You got to compromise yourself, compromise the projects you want to do, compromise the language because it's their money. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying we won't apply for funding to execute projects, but to sustain ourselves, to keep ourselves alive. We must be able to do that as a community. So we know for a fact it's not the £5 a month. It's not the amount, because I'm sure one of us has spent £5 today. You know, our Spotify, our Netflix, you know what I mean? All of them things, those of us who smoke, yeah, £5 can't even buy nothing these days. Listen, so it's not the money.
Listen,
right?
£60 a year can't even buy my youth trainers.
You understand?
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
So you know it's not the money. So we was asking ourselves, so if it's not the money, right? So we know it's not the money why people weren't joining or are not joining, then you have to ask yourself, is it the fact that, number one, you don't believe our mission, you don't believe in the organization, number two, you feel a bit of some kind of detachment from your community, you know what I mean? Yeah, I guess questions you need to ask yourself, like, why don't I see the value in joining the organization? Why do I feel disattached from my community? You know what I mean? 'Cause it's not about the money. Now, there's some people that they hear the word organization and they automatically put off because they think of meetings and, you know, and that is an element of being in an organization. But for those people that are not on that, there's still a place for you. So your job is then to promote the organization and to get other people on it. So if you're not willing or you're not interested in doing the work that it takes to set up events, to apply for funding, to do all the things that need to happen, then, you know, support those that are willing and able to do these things. You know, that's all we ask. And then not only join with money, join with your skills as well. You know, join and attach yourself to a particular department. Many of you have probably been on our website, and our website is not up to date because, you know, one thing you can't determine when somebody joins your organization is their commitment, is their integrity. You know what I mean? And people join organizations for different reasons. It's normally a response to something. So the people that we've had over the years that have come and joined have either joined because, I don't know, maybe they had an incident at work and it rolled them up. So they've looked for an outlet, they found OBU, done a bit of work with us, but everything's crisp now. You don't hear from them again.
It's true.
Or because we're not having enough money coming in, we have somebody that said they're going to manage the website for us, but then because we don't have the money to pay them regularly, it then becomes a chore to that person. So then they're not that committed, they ain't getting paid for it. So sure, if I don't do it, I don't do it. But then when that doesn't happen now, and the website is not up to date, people stop me, they stop Nicole, they stop Kayindi, they ask, why go on with the website? Why go on with the nursery? Why go on with the... And nobody wants to hear a bag of excuses. But the reality is, the four of us can't do everything. You understand what I mean? So these are some of the barriers that we found so far. You know, one of the main reasons can be as well that maybe some people haven't heard of OBU, but I do believe that we have spent a lot of time, you know, putting ourselves out there. Maybe in the last year or so, we haven't engaged as much in the community because, to be honest, you know, the community hasn't engaged with us. You know, last year I put on a few events called Black Flicks and Chill, and the purpose of that was I said, okay, before we start talking about investing with each other and putting money in, let's just chill with each other. Let's get to know each other on a different level first. Let's just sit as a community. You know what I mean? So put on these events, and then you end up paying more to rent the space than you make at the event, and then you end up in a deficit. You know what I mean? And those things, it kind of kills your spirit, I ain't gonna lie. You know what I mean? So we've been working on other projects in the background. The main one is the reopening of the former Marcus Garvey Nursery. Yeah, so that's one of our main projects now that a lot of people were involved in. And again, when we presented the idea to the community that wanted to reopen the building, everybody was on it. Yes, you know, everybody was on it. My husband can build. My husband, you know, I know a plumber, I know a plasterer. It was like, great. So we set up Marcus Garvey Nursery Board, yeah, as a response to all those people who said they were interested, they had links and stuff, yeah, and they formed the Marcus Garvey Nursery Board. And what happened, again, it's about commitment. So we would see there was a WhatsApp group with, you know, the members in it who were supposed to meet once a month to open up a bank account, register themselves, start finding tradesmen, all those kind of things. And we just watch. So, you know, 1 month everybody met to go and assume their titles, because, you know, everybody loves titles. Everybody wants to be the chair. Everyone wants to be, you know what I mean? But then when they find out that with each title comes responsibility and accountability, you don't see him as, you know what I mean, interesting anymore. So the board would meet. The board was supposed to meet once a month to get things going with the building. And then for whatever reason, maybe it rained that day, this person decided not to go. Maybe that person was tired, you know. Then a second month has gone, there's no meeting. The third month, these two people have fell out. So now, you know what I mean? And then before you know it, 6-7 months has passed and nothing's happened to the building.
Wow.
And then again, when people ask questions, you know, what's happened to the building? Nobody wants to hear, traded all the story. They just want to hear it's open on this day at this time, you know, even though they haven't contributed to the opening of it. You know what I mean? But those are some of the, I guess, pitfalls of, you know, trying to be organized and trying to get people on board. You can never account or attest for somebody's commitment to, you know, to being involved, because people are driven by different things, you know.
Wow. I know it's a lot. It's a lot. And you know what is the plan with the former nursery? Right.
I don't know if anybody knows, the nursery was on Linwood Road.
Yes.
Now, Linwood Road is a very built-up road, a residential street. So currently, we decided not to open it as a nursery, but as a multi-purpose, like education building, or for whatever the community needed the building for. Because we know, we looked at the logistics of it. If anybody knows Linwood Road, you know, trying to imagine, you know, 5 parents at 6:30, at 6 o'clock trying to pick up their children, just not practical.
No.
It's not practical. So obviously we definitely keep, you know, want to keep the building, which we have done.
Yes.
We finally managed to, you know, refurb the ground floor. Yeah, it's a 3-story building. We managed to refurb the ground floor with the vision of using the ground floor to raise funds to then open up the other 2 levels, right? So it's not completely finished. It's probably at 90% finished. It's more about like the cosmetics inside and, you know, just, you know, prettying it up basically, for want of a better term. But yeah, basically that's where we are with that. We still need to have like the grounds maintained, you know. There's an alarm system there, there's heat in there, so when people are going to ask again, where's my £5 a month going, you know, it's going to practical things like that. We want some community transport, you know what I mean? These are things that we should be able to access straight away. You know, we should be able to, you know what I mean? So we need community transport, then we'll need somebody to maintain the transport, and that person will need paying. You understand what I mean? We're going to need a maintenance guy or somebody at the building. That person's going to need paying. When we, you know, have an event, people are going to want something to drink. They're going to want to, you know what I mean? All these things are practical things that need to be paid for. You understand what I mean? So you may not every month see your return on your £5, but as a bigger picture, you know what I mean? The return comes back, you know, tenfold. And it's what you're contributing to.
Yeah. And for me, this is why it was so important to get you on today. Yeah. Because again, I know a lot of us are tired, yeah, and like I said, it's very important for us to do this because yes, now there is a newfound interest for many people in everything black right now, right? For me, I think it's about bringing it onto now, looking at the topic in hand, right? So everybody was on it a couple of weeks ago. So when I asked the question that, you know, the question of today's discussion, activism, are you really on it? Yeah. Mm. When I've spoken to people who've been there in the community, they're tired. They're talk to me, KUSH, talk to me.
Yeah, I mean, people are tired. You know what I mean? But I think the reason why most people are tired as well, because there seems to be no action from, you know, there seems to be nothing tangible coming from all these protests, all these, you know, all these things that we're doing. It seems like we're constantly going around in a circle, like a here we go again kind of thing. And that's, you know, honestly, if I'm being honest, that's typically my attitude when something happens and I get the message on WhatsApp, you know. boycott this for a day or march here for the day. I just think, yeah, all right then. Yeah, all right then. Because that's going to make such a big difference. But like I said, it's not to mimic or mock any of that, because I understand people's need and, you know, to react to something. Yeah. But you have to be reacting with a purpose now. We have to be reacting strategically now. You know what I mean? Otherwise, we might as well just be passive recipients and the society say, you know what? We're happy with, you know, with the state of play, and we just need to shut up then. You know what I mean? Me, I talk too much and complain too much and chant down Babylon too much, not to have an active role in contributing to something. You know what I mean? That's just me personally. So because I do all this, I got to do some walking as well. You know what I mean? And that's all we're encouraging people to do. Because I know there's a lot of activists in our community. There's a lot of people that we got skill set. We got people that are on it. You know what I mean? And I guess without being trying to be too emotional about it, but it is in my heart. You know, there's a lot of people around me, you know what I mean, that kind of know what I do, you know, that hear me talk about OBU, you know, ask me about it all the time, what's going on. And I've always thought to myself, like, you ask me these questions, you see, you know, you see what's going on. So what has made you not, you know, what has made you not join? You understand what I mean? So again, I think it's about value and what we value. And I think we really need to examine within ourselves, you know, what kind of things do we value? You know, we've seen the power of, you know, I want to say something. We chant these mantras all the time. Unity is strength. You know, one hand can't clap. Many hands make light work. We've grown up on all these mantras, all these things, but have we actually experienced the power of unity? Have we actually, you know what I mean? Have we actually done that for ourselves? We've seen examples of it. You know, we've seen Black Panthers, for example, first name that came to my head. Yeah. We've seen how they responded to the needs of their own community. Yeah, with less resources than we have now, less, you know, methods of communication. You understand? We've got, you want another example of organization, Nation of Islam. You want to talk about being organized, being prompt, being thorough. You know what I mean? Like, even just to, you know what I mean? Like, we see the power of when people come together and everybody does their bit. We've seen the power of that.
Collective power.
You know what I mean? We just need to be confident to know that we too, you know what I mean? Those people are no different from us. You know, members of the Black Panther Party, we're just members of the community like you and I, bringing what we had, bringing our passion, bringing our genius and our, you know, forward thinkingness and making stuff happen, you know, separating ourselves from the rest of the community. You know, like, I've been challenged before on this theory of separation as well. You know, separation over segregation. And what I say the difference is in separation is that separation is done by choice. Segregation is, you know, the bigger piece, you know, the main group, you know, I mean, the dominant group saying, now you go over there. Separation is saying, now we're taking ourselves over here. Yeah, it's done with pride and confidence and knowing that we don't need any of them. Yes. You know, anybody that's on Facebook right now, we've got, there's 2 pages, Black-owned Birmingham, is it? And Black-owned economy. Now, if those 2 pages alone don't show you that there is nothing in our community that we don't service. Right now, I've got my car booked in at MOT at a black garage that I found today. Nice. You understand? So there's every service, every skill that we need, we have in our community. I know it personally. I know people in my phone right now that can set up a running school, and me not ask nobody. Me not ask Christ, as I would have said. Yeah? I ain't asking nobody. We all know people around us that have a skill set that is useful for our community. We all got young people around us, all these graduates that we have around us. You know, we encourage our young people to go to university to get the degree, but then what they're going to do with it, if they feel disattached from our community, they're going to take that wealth of knowledge, yeah, that intellectual power, as they call it, and they're going to go and build up the system. Yeah. You understand what I mean? So take that business degree, that law degree, take your IT skills, take whatever skills you have, and come back to your community with it. You know what I mean? But if they don't see us doing that, if they don't see us valuing our community, why are they going to do it? Why are they going to do it?
And this goes back to what I've said in other live chats, you know, in terms of the community disconnect. Now, for me, like I said, I think there was only probably about 3, maybe 4 main areas in Birmingham that black people grew up in, right? And then, you know, social mobility again, you know, we've gone and got two qualifications, yeah? We get ourselves that nice little German, and then we're gone. And there's this whole talk about making it out of the hood and leaving the ends. And I think it's absolutely crazy when you think about it, because this is where half the problems actually, this is where the problems actually
this idea of moving on up, you know, moving up this ladder. There ain't no ladder.
Exactly.
There is no ladder.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Because I tell you what, if I won the lottery tomorrow, and if I won 10 mil tomorrow, guess what? The system's gonna look at me the same way, because I don't have that social capital. You know what I mean? I got that money, but I don't know. I ain't rubbing shoulders with nobody that has an influential power. That's just me with a bag of money. Probably gonna then go and spend it back in the said system I'm burning out. You know what I mean? So we actually need to understand and be comfortable with our position, you know, and reclaim our rightful place. And I'm trying not to sound too preachy when I say that, but it's almost like we forget who we are. It's almost like we forgot our greatness. You know what I mean? It's almost like we forgot that we don't continuously set the trend in every facet of life. Every facet of life.
Trendsetters. And you know what? In terms of that collective power and that detachedness and everything else, for me, again, we're easily blindsided. Yes, preach. Yeah, we're easily blindsided. Yeah. By what distractions are there. So like I said, the football's back on. Yes, yeah. The pubs soon open back again, and the nightclubs and everything soon open back up again, yeah? Right? All of these sort of things are opening back up again to take us away from what really needs to change. And then what are we doing? Are we waiting for the next black man to get killed for us?
And that's what we generally try to do. You know what I mean? So in general, I say people value 3 things. When you're asked to do something, you generally consider yourself, is it worth my time? Is it worth my money? And is it worth my energy? Yeah? These, and we kind of weigh it up, depending on the way you know, your train of thought is. Some people say, nah, I ain't making no money off that, I ain't going. You got people that are straight like that. Nothing into me, I ain't going. There's some people, that's long, man. That's going to take all day. You got them kind of people. Yeah, and then you got people I can't be bothered. You know what I mean? So depending on your train of thought, yeah, your time, money, and energy is the 3 things that you consider. Now you see me, I got time, and I got the energy. I probably ain't got the finance, but I know there's other ways that we can contribute. You understand what I mean? So everybody has a way to contribute. Like I was saying, even if you want to join the organization on a base level, like, you know what, I ain't doing nothing, I ain't in no meeting, I ain't in listening to nobody telling me nothing, I don't like her, join it and get other people to join them. You know what I mean? You know, as like a base level contribution, that's what you can do. You can know that, right, I'm not on it, but let me pass it on, or let me get other people that I know are on it to be on it.
Yes.
You know what I mean? That's another problem that we have as well. We tend not to be on things unless everybody else is on it. So if nobody's on it till everybody's on it, then nobody ever gonna be. You understand what I mean? So these are, again, I'm just talking about some of the pitfalls that we've experienced over the time.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And I kind of feel like if people are not ready now, then they're not going to be ready again.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I think so. I totally agree.
You know, one message I want to keep reiterating as well. Obviously, I'm here advocating for OBU. That's my organization. You know, you might have looked on our site, you might have seen things that we do, and you feel like, nah, I ain't feeling their politics. That's fine, but join something or start something then. You understand what I mean? But get involved on some level, even if OBU ain't for you. You know what I'm saying? Then get involved in something else, join something else, or start something else. Because nothing is going to happen without organizing. You're not going to vote it away. Yeah? I'll give you an example. Teachers, there's an organization called the National Union of Teachers. Yeah. So when there's an issue, when teachers want a pay rise or anything to do with that, everybody comes from their different walks of life, the tall, the short, the black, the white, the this, the that, the that, the that. They come together, they meet on this day, they stand outside Parliament, demand what they want, and then they go back to their respective places.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then something else happens, they already know who they are, you know what I mean? They're established, they've got a voice, blah, 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 blah. Yeah.
And they're paying. And they pay into that union.
Exactly, because they see the value of it. You understand?
Yes.
They see the value of it. Another, I guess, what word am I looking for again? I don't want to keep using the word pitfall. I guess another, issue, the barrier.
Yeah.
Yes, the barrier. Another barrier that I find with organizations as well, or a barrier that stops people joining our organization, is this kind of habit we have of like deifying people. So, example, we follow people, not movements. So if somebody likes you, they're on what you're on.
Yes.
Yeah, because they like you. Yeah, whether or not they've considered your politics or whatever is a different thing, but they like you, you and them safe. If you and them have a little disagreement or they hear something about you or whatever, all of a sudden now they're not in a nothing to do with you. You understand what I mean? So that means whatever you was defending, whatever mission you was on, all of a sudden now I don't like him. So the whole mission falls. And I don't know if that's one of the disadvantages coming down from Christianity. You know what I mean? That we've got this, you know, this deification model system that, you know what I mean? Like, I'll use Umar Johnson again as another example. You know what I mean? So before the scandal, everybody was on Umar. You know what I mean? Umar would come over here. There was even one time OBU brought Umar Johnson over, and the place was rammed. The place was rammed, and no disrespect to the man, he wasn't saying nothing that we've been saying as a community. You know what I mean? He was talking about organizing. He's talking about getting together. You know what I mean? So a man from America had to come to Birmingham to tell people that you guys should start a parent group. You guys should work more together. And it's like, well, hold on. Me never said that too. They never said that. Because, you know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know if it's this, you know, I don't know, like this kind of celebrity kind of thing, or maybe you want to hear it in an American accent, or, you know, maybe we're not popular enough, or maybe we're not bossy enough to command the attention, but the message is the same. But you know what I mean?
But I think it's, again, yeah, it's about that appreciation. I think sometimes you appreciate it in other lands. You appreciate it in other towns, in other cities.
Why was it Bob that said a good man is never honored in his own land or something like that?
See it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is like Kalanji said, dance a yard, and I'm about dancing a yard first. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So we need to fix up, build where we are before we start doing anything else.
And you know the crazy thing is, I'm sure saying, you know, from the Garveyites, there were certain people that never liked Marcus Garvey, but you know they believed in what the overall aim and goal was. Yeah, there's certain what amazes me is that with this Boris that's in power right now, right, no matter how misogynistic, sexist, racist, no matter what, nothing can touch that Teflon Dan, you know. Nothing can touch him, you know.
Yeah, because people believe in his strategy. So I'm sure there's loads of people in his party, people that voted him in, that probably don't like him, but they like the policies, because they'll understand that the policies put them in a position of power and it's advantageous to them. So why they might mock him and jeer him same way we do, he's presenting a message that they defend. He's presenting a message or a point of view that's going to benefit them. So they're gonna, you know what I mean? They're gonna defend it. They're gonna defend it. But we don't do that. We don't do that. We chat each other. We point. We do this and that, and we need to, while we're pointing, as my granny would say, we've got to watch the thumb. You know what I mean? So while I'm pointing at you, the thumb's pointing right back at myself.
Yes.
So while we're quick to criticize and you shouldn't do this and you never done that, well, what you doing?
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So even another example, even just logging on to come on to this,
yes.
I was there was a message in the inbox on the there was a message on the Insta. Oh, your page is rubbish. You're not communicating with the black community. You're slow and you're this and that and this and that. Yeah, so that's somebody that's obviously seen us and feels like we're slow. Yes, we are slow. Yes, our website is not up to date because the people that came and was committed to that decided that they weren't again. I'm not an IT expert. Yeah, everybody else in the organization, like all of you, are mothers, fathers, teachers, whatever the case is, and we all have other things going on. So the website is not going to be up to date. Yes, we haven't put on as much events because there's only been a handful of us. Okay. You understand what I'm saying? And we don't want to have to do everything in the community, and we shouldn't have to. You know what I mean? And if we're just going to benefit the 5 of us, we can do things amongst ourselves. You know what I mean? It's our organization. And when I say our, I mean the royal we. You know what I mean? It's for the community. Yes, I'm the vice chair. Yes, Kahindi is the chair. Yes, Nicole is the treasurer. Yes, Shay is the secretary. That's for the purpose of bureaucracy. Because to start an organization, those are the 4 positions that you need to even register yourself. So it's not, we don't work in a top-down format. So it's not, the chair is here, then the vice chair. We work in a circular motion, right? So everybody's ideas, everybody's point of view is as valuable as everybody else's. It's not this top-down Babylonian system that we used to. There's nobody at the top, there's nobody at the bottom. We are in a circle. Our models is a circular model where everything is fed off each other, everything coincides with each other and coordinates with each other. So that's how we work. You know what I mean? So I think that's so leading on from that point, another thing that we found is that most of our members have been women, right? So most of the people that have registered their interest have been women. And I think when we hear about organizations, right, we tend to forget that women are putting a lot of the work. I'm sure Marcus Garvey would attest to his wife, lending at her home for the first UNIA meetings, servicing things, you know what I mean? So I don't know if that's why a lot of brothers haven't joined, because this idea of being, I don't know, told what to do, maybe taking direction from man, you see them kind of things there. We kind of need to get over these. We need to be a bit more emotionally mature about this as well. And
if we're all talking about activism and being on it and we need to change it or whatever, some of us need to just follow or take direction or take instruction, because like I can't remember who said it, but they said, like, all right, then if you're not gonna follow or if you're not gonna read or do your research, there's another brother that's done that research, and knows exactly what to do, and has followed. Like he said, OBU is based off Malcolm X's principles of community organizing. Do you know what I mean? And we know how successful that was. We know that there was money and there was wealth. We know there are all those things that was created, 60 years ago? I'm guessing, I can't even think right now, right? 60 years ago there, 100 years ago with Garvey, and we're back where we are right now, and I think one of the biggest problems that we have is this hyper-consumerism, this consumerism that we're doing, and I think that's what's destroying us, because the same people and the same organizations and companies that we buy into are the same organizations, companies, brands that do not love us.
Not at all. Exactly.
Not love us, and they've been open about it. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly, and we still buy into it. Again, it's about, I guess, this idea again about value and, what makes you, how you define success then. You know what I mean? Because some people define success based upon the things that they have, their worldly possessions. You know what I mean? I can afford to buy this, therefore you will address and treat me in a particular way. That's what kind of we're all doing, presenting ourselves in a particular way, to be, spoke to in a particular way, to command a particular, whatever we feel like we're entitled to. We're all doing it, we all present ourselves how we see ourselves, you know what I mean? And we address, we expect people to address us in a particular way based upon how we present ourselves as well. You know what I mean? So there's all these kind of things to to consider.
Yeah, there's lots, and I know we've spoken about it, and we've done a lot of talking. There's been a lot of talking, a lot of posting, and now everybody's saying now it seems like it's no longer hashtag trending. Now what?
Exactly. So, like I said, in between now and the next incident that we get riled up about, what we're going to be doing in the meantime, because, like I said, our community, there's still loads of needs that need to be met in our community. You know, the platform, you know, there's a structure, there's an organization there that has been set up to meet these needs. It just needs people. It cannot run. It cannot be successful. It cannot, you know, do what it's supposed to do without people. That is just the bottom line. There's no other way to go around that. You know what I mean? We've tried to be as transparent as we can with our intentions, with our finances.
Yes.
You know, prior to like I said, when the Marcus Garvey board was set up, we were selling shares in the community for the building for 24% ownership. So we were selling shares at £50 each.
Wow.
So because the Marcus Garvey Nursery Board was dissolved, yeah, because of non-action, Companies House fined us because we didn't register, all these things, yeah. So because the Marcus Garvey Nursery Board was dissolved and the checks and the payments were made out to the Marcus Garvey Nursery Board, you know, we couldn't do anything. Well, we could have kept the money, but we decided to pay everybody back their money. We gave everybody back their money with interest, mind you. You know what I mean? So the shares were £50. Everybody that had bought a share, once the Marcus Garvey Nursery Board was dissolved, everybody got their money back. And I'm proud to say that I'd say over half of the people that we gave their money back said, nah, keep the money. We just, you know, we appreciate your integrity. We appreciate your transparency. You know what I mean? So before we started this organization, obviously we looked at the, you know, some of the pitfalls of organization. We've heard the same rumors that you've heard. We've seen the same money mismanagement that you've seen over the years in the community. We've had the same distrust for organizations. So we're in it with you. We've heard all those things, which is why we've tried to present ourselves in such an open and transparent way. You know what I mean? All the members, every member of OBU, we have AGMs, we have AGM meetings where you can see finances, you can see the bank accounts there, we got nothing to hide. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I mean, at one point, I think we were a bit over transparent, and we actually posted the link to the thing on the website, and people were like, nah, people can do fraud on that. But it was just so you can see, you know, that's how much money was in, that's how much money's come out.
Yes.
We're not in a situation where, you know, Kayindi and Nicola's husband and wife can go and sign a check and run off with the money.
Mm.
We've set up ourselves so that cannot happen.
Yes.
It's all transparent. It's all above board. You know what I mean? Because we know that, you know, there's that distrust in our community. We know that we can't handle any even suggestion of wrongdoing. Because, you know, once we hear a rumor in our community, that gone wrong quick. You know what I mean? The bad news always spreads quicker than the good news. You know what I mean? So we know that, you know what I mean? So again, it's influenced the way that we've operated, the way that, like I said, we've tried to be transparent, and we just try to be clear. You know, we don't have all the answers. We're just 5 passionate people that know the community has a need for something, and we've tried to respond to that need.
Yes.
But just like in life, sometimes people don't know what's good for them or can't see what's good for them at the time. Like I said, we started in 2013. Here we are 7 years later. We knew it was good back then. So, like I said, maybe this is a time for people to be like, okay, then, you know what? I want to be involved in something. This is the time. So, here's, you know, perfect opportunity.
Absolutely.
And like I'm going to reiterate, even if you're saying, oh, nah, I ain't feeling that, I'm not on no organization thing or on that organization, join one. Join something else or start something, but we're not going to get anywhere without being organized. You know, small, you know, we want to talk about a hand and a fist. So 5 pockets of people doing something is never going to be as strong as this.
Yes.
You know, they say that, you know, the sum is greater than the parts, you know, for those that speak mathematically like myself, you know what I mean? So together we achieve more. There's no other way around it, you know what I mean? There's no science behind it. That is just simple, basic, how it is. You get me?
Yeah, yeah. I'm with you. I'm with you. And you know what? That's one of the things. I've never seen a website so transparent in my life. When I sat down and I read the testament, yeah, right, I couldn't believe it. I was like, wow, yeah, honestly, yeah. And from that, I rate you and your team to the maximum for that, you know, because, you know, that was one of the first things I said to you when I seen y'all walk around with the nursery. And you're like, you know what?
Yeah, listen, I can't even go one stop. I've been happy for the lockdown because nobody don't want to talk to me now. Yeah, but you know how much time I'll be down one stop. Oh, cool. Why with the nursery man? And you just think, oh God, just want to do my shopping. But again, that commitment, I know, say, if somebody approaches me and I say, sure, I can't bother to talk about that. Then again now, oh, KUSH was rude to me. You know, say, me not join the organization. You know what I mean? Them kind of things. So that's part of that accountability as well. Even when I can't be bothered to answer the question, or, you know what I mean? We have an event and then somebody calls you right after the event to ask you how it is. Even though I want to say, why didn't you come? Don't ask me nothing. I've got to be like, oh, well, you know, it was because it's just one of those things that go on with it. You know what I mean?
And that comes across, we know, the minute that you step out into the community as to serve the community, you are ultimately a public figure. So you have to carry yourself a certain way.
What?
Exactly.
Yeah.
The pressure, you know. Oh, it's a pressure. I get that. And you know what? I'm going to bring up something that's been kind of topical. And that's what's really been making me vex. All right, then. There's a similarity, right? There's a similarity, and I don't mean to bring it into. So, right, when in 2016, yeah, right, when this rise in youth violence started, Birmingham decided to do another report looking into youth violence and yada 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 yada. And just like other reports, it brought up exactly the same points as the previous ones, right? Whenever a child dies from and there's a serious case review with social services, there is always the same actions and points that are brought up every single time. There's nothing new. You can read that one serious case review and you can read another and it's exactly the same, right? Now they're talking, now Boris is talking about another review into racial inequality. Now, listen, when I could look at 4 reviews, right, that have taken place, right, in more recent years. Obviously, there's Lammy with his 35 recommendations. There's is it Angelini review, 110 recommendations. The Windrush lessons, the Windrush lessons, there were 30 recommendations. Yeah, Baroness McGregor Smith, 26 recommendations. And to my understanding, I hope somebody can correct me otherwise, I'm not actually sure how many of those recommendations, or it will just be a paper service, lip service, how many of those recommendations, do we actually need another review to review anything? I
mean, because who do these recommendations benefit? You know what I mean? What, like, you know, what's the incentive to meet these recommendations? Who cares? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, the recommendations are there, but like I said, it's of no benefit to the people in particular positions to address them. You know what I mean? It serves as no benefit to yourself. And you know, this system only does things to please itself. You know what I mean? The system does things to please itself, so we need to be doing stuff to please ourselves. No. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And, you know, we talk about we rise up, man. Like, you know, we rise up Malcolm X all the time. We rise up Marcus Garvey all the time. We rise up Kwame Nkrumah all the time. And these are our greats that have left the black print. Some people say blueprint, bun blue, black print. Yeah, they've left the black print there, and it's almost like a diss. It is a diss to these great men and women before us, right? You know, that have come, left us certain strategies, left certain things for us, and we're acting like we don't know what to do. We're acting like we don't know what to do. And then the people that do know what to do, we don't even want to support those. You know what I mean? So like I said, there's people that have no interest in reading the philosophies and opinions of Marcus Garvey. There's people that have no interest in listening to Malcolm's speeches. But for the people that have, let's at least honor those. You know what I mean? Let's at least listen to what they have to say, because they've done the work that you haven't been willing to do. You know what I mean? So even if that's not for you, let's support and, you know, let's support and advance the situation. You know, let's basically support those that have taken that time out to set up these things. Because running an organization is not easy. You know, we've got that building on Linwood Road in the middle of the ends, basically. It's in the middle of the ghetto, yeah? It's in the middle of a residential road. So before we got like the bars put on the window, when the neighbors used to come and used to call, oh, there's needles, there's people inside smoking, that means that whether it's a Saturday afternoon or a Monday morning, one of us, it go like, who's got the key or who's able to go? We need to go, address the situation, walk upon whoever's in the building, deal with that, probably call the council to pick up the needles, blah, 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 blah. And that could be first thing Monday morning. Now, if we don't do it, then it's not going to get done. Yes. You know what I mean? It's a inconvenience to all of us, but we know that these are the things that it takes. Now, if there's 20 people, or if there's, I don't know, 10 key holders, then the pressure is reduced now. You understand what I mean? So, like I said, we can't do everything by ourselves. We don't want to do everything by ourselves. We didn't create an organization for the 5 of us. You know what I mean? We didn't do that. We could easily just done things amongst ourselves, but it's not about, you know, self. Like I said, we chant mantras like Ubuntu all the time. You know, I am because we are. But we can't be saying them things in theory and not act, you know, I'm not actioning them. You know what I mean? Otherwise, like I said, it's like a diss to the people that have come before us, gone through how many sacrifices, you know what I mean? Written all this great material, left us clear instructions, you know what I mean? And left enough examples where we can take from the greatness and avoid the pitfalls. There's been enough of that there. Yes. You know, there's been enough examples from the system to show that they don't give a shit about us. I'm gonna have to say that, sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
I bet the whole 55 minutes of that straight. Anybody that knows me, you know that I've been on my best behavior, right? So how many more children do we need to see fail in the system? You know what I mean? How many times do we need to see those things? Because we say it all the time, the system, I feel like picking them, you know. And for whatever reason, we're still sending our children back there. You know what I mean? This lockdown period, you know, I know a lot of parents have started homeschooling their children, and I've started to realize, you know what? I can do this. My pity ain't learning nothing at school. You understand what I mean? Because we are creative. We know how to do those things. You understand what I mean? So if one thing, like you started off saying, the one thing this lockdown period have shown a lot of us is the idea of doing for self. We've been supporting each other a lot more. I know that because certain shops ain't being opened, particularly in these groups that are on Facebook. The amount of money I've spent in the last 2 weeks just buying stuff that I've seen because I just like it and I'm so amazed that it's there. And I know other people have been saying the same thing. So it's not that we haven't got the resources. We've got the people. There's money in our community. Don't tell me there ain't money in our community.
There is.
Yeah?
There is.
There's money in our community. Yeah? It's just about where that money is going and the value that the community has for itself. You know, those are some of the barriers.
We have 22 seconds left, right?
Really?
Yeah. So we're gonna come back in a bit. We're gonna come back straight afterwards, right? We're gonna turn it up a little bit more as well. Yeah.